This video is an introduction to JobTrack software system. We're going to be looking at the JT Office system. This is a system that would be run on Windows operating system in the Office. Let's start by double-clicking the icon on the Windows desktop, and the first thing we have to enter is the job code. This is a 2-character code that's assigned to each company that is using the JobTrack system. This only comes up the very first time you run JobTrack on a computer, so we will not have to answer this again. After that, we're presented with the usual JobTrack login screen. We enter in our name and password, and this will bring us to the main window of the JobTrack system, which is the workflow window. On the workflow window, we have a list of jobs that are open, and this is a whole range of stages of progress of the jobs, anywhere from just having had the contract signed all the way to having all the work done and waiting for inspection. So this is a list of open jobs presented in this grid in the upper half of the screen. The lower half of the screen is a list of to-dos for the particular user I logged in as. Let's just go ahead and double click on any of the rows in the workflow to view the detail for that particular job. And I'm going to job number 1154 for John Rethmeyer. After you've double clicked, you're presented with a series of tabs for that particular job. Starting on the left is the contract. The contract is all the information that the salesperson collected out from the customer, the measurements, everything needed to order materials and do an estimate for the job. And this particular window looks different than the other tabs because it is modeled after the paper contract that the salesperson is taking out to the customer. So it's set up this way to make it easy for the person entering the information in off the paper contract. It's going to look different for every company that uses JobTrack. Next tab over is the contact information. All the basics over here on the left for the name and address of the customer, plus a grid here that shows all the appointments that have been had with this customer, the meetings, and also another grid that shows all the jobs or prospect records that this customer has entered into JobTrack. So this customer has 2 jobs in JobTrack already. The next tab over is the job detail tab. Here you have the status salesperson, a quick overview of the measurements that were on the contract, the job address, because the job might be at a different address than the customer's address. The upper grid here is a list of all the stages of the job. Stages are usually correspond to each trade involved in the job. So some jobs might be roofing only, then they would have 1 row up on this grid. Other jobs that have roofing, or maybe several stages of roofing and siding, gutters, would have multiple rows here. The lower grid here is just a list of all the materials involved in the job. This is so that we can generate a PO to go off and order materials from the supplier. The next tab over is the financials tab. This is a financial overview of the job. So here you can see a summary of the charges. Here with the discount, additional charge, total of all the supplements, and all that combines down into the total charge for the customer. Here's a summary of what the customer's payments have been, a summary of the cost broken out by material and labor and office, and then a quick analysis of what the profit of the job is going to be. This upper grid is a list of all the individual payments made by the customer. This lower grid is a breakout of the expenses by category. The next tab over is the mortgage and insurance, and this is just a place to type in the mortgage and insurance information for the customer. The next tab is the notes tab. Here is all the notes that have been entered for this particular job. These notes can be entered in by the office people or sales people or the job managers. Anyone involved in the job can enter in a note, but also notes are also automatically entered by the system when some event occurs, like an email sent off to the insurance company that is logged in here by the system automatically. The next tab over is one of the highlights of the system, which is its document management. In here you can attach all kinds of documents and images and photos to a job. So you can upload a document from your system or off of a card or a thumb drive, or just drag and drop images and PDFs on the system here. You can also have the system automatically run a scanner to scan paper documents from your scanner directly into the job. Something that's not obvious here is that you can take photos out with your smartphone and have images go straight from your phone directly into the job by just emailing them to an address that includes a job number. This button shows that you can click on one or more images and select those images to be emailed to someone, and click on this button, and it gives you a list of all the emails for people that are involved in the job, so you can just very quickly check mark off these people and send those documents as attachments in an email. To view a document, you just double click on it. So if I double click on this photo, very quickly it'll come up and be displayed. It's full screen size. Also, if I double click on a PDF, it'll come up and display the PDF quickly. The next tab over is the supplements tab. This is where all of the change orders and supplements are documented, and they automatically, all information typed in here can be used to create a supplement document, and printed or emailed or faxed automatically right from within the system. And the financial aspects of the supplement are automatically figured into the financial calculations for the job. The next tab over is the work orders, reports, letters. That's pretty much all the correspondence that's automatically handled by the system. So you can just pick from this list of what you want to do, anything ranging from a blank letter or a fax cover sheet, all the way to being a quite complex insurance invoice can be handled here. And just like most other things in the system, you can print it, email it, or fax it right from within the system. And just give a quick overview of the different documents that are available. A work order, documents, a purchase order, so these are the documents that are available, including automatically generated letters to the customer, thank you letters, and that sort of thing. That is pretty much it for these tabs that are involved in one job. So now I'm going to click back on the workflow button, and let's work our way down the buttons here on the left side. The next button over is the find button. I click on it, and it'll allow me to find a job anywhere in the system. So, if the job doesn't appear on the workflow, if it's an older job, I can just start typing here to search for that job. The system is smart. It'll type in pretty much anything, and it will use whatever you type in to find the job. So I can obviously type in the job number, and it'll get me right to the job. And then double clicking on that row that comes up will take me right back to where we were in that job with all the tabs and options. I'm going to click on the find button here again and just start typing in the last name. As soon as I get the 3 characters, you can see that it's found the jobs for John Rethmeyer, and there is the job again that we were looking at, and I can just double click and go right back into that job. One thing about the system too is it's smart enough to know that if you start to type in a number it'll assume it's a job number, but then if you follow it with some characters, then it's going to assume it's an address. So now if I know if someone lives at a certain address, I can type in start typing in the address and it will find it. So I started typing in 27 space E, and it find all the jobs that match that address, and once again it's the Rethmeyer job we were looking at. That's pretty much it for the find button. Let's move on down to the scheduler. This is a scheduler that is kind of a typical scheduler for an Office. It looks a lot like the Microsoft Outlook scheduler, where you can schedule multiple people for multiple days. And we're going to just take a look at one person now. And to schedule a job for a day, we just double click on the time slot that we want to schedule it. I'll bring us up a new appointment record. We'd say I want to make a roofing appointment for a salesperson named Brian Smith, and I could type in a brand new customer here on the right. It would create a new customer record. I'm going to pick on our person again, John Rothmeyer, and say I want to make a new appointment for John. And as you can see, I just started to type his name in and picked him off the list. It drops all his information in, and then I close this, and it creates a new record for John Rothmeyer, and we'll email it off. We'll email that information regarding that appointment off to John. As you can see, the appointment has been created for John Rothmeyer, and there's a lot of stuff I can do from this point. I can just click on it and view it again, view the appointment, or I can just drag this line to make the appointment longer. I could actually highlight more days over here on the right. So now I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday available, or in the viewing window. And I can just grab this appointment and drag it to a different day. And whenever changes are made to a new appointment is created or changed, the system automatically sends off emails to that salesperson that the appointment's been made or changed. Moving on down the buttons here, I'm going to click on the checkbook button over on the left, and that brings us to a checkbook register. Much like Quicken or QuickBooks, this is an alternative for companies to use, so they should not have to be using Quicken or QuickBooks in their company if they make full use of the system. Just like Quicken, it's designed to look very simple. If I want to just very quickly make a payment for some miscellaneous expense, I can just click on Other and type in what I'm making a entry for, and then type in the amount, and that is pretty much it. On the more complex side is if I were to do something more specific in the system, like pay a salesperson. I select that, and the system somewhat shifts gears, and now it'll allow me to pick the salesperson off of the list, and then press the money button, and see it pops up a list of all of the jobs that salesperson has done, and so I can see what amount they're owed for different jobs. And make a salesperson payment. Also, contractor payments are handled in a similar way. If I select contractor payments, then the next column over, the list of contractors pops up. And same thing, then clicking the button, the next payment works nearly identically to the salespeople payments. So you're showed a list of jobs that this salesperson or this contractor is owed money. A lot of information to be pulled up right from within the system. All the grids in the system have the ability to sort by just clicking on the column header. You can also filter and select one person off the list and get a summary of information. So I want to see all the salesperson payments I made to Bill Bailey. I just click him off the filter, I'll see only his payments, and I will get a summary. So Bill Bailey in total has been paid $28,000. Also, I can take off that filter, undo the sorting by payment, but also then group by. So I can just drag this column heading up there and have the entire check register grouped by who I've paid to. So you can see summaries of everyone that's been paid and what their payments were. I can expand by just clicking on the plus sign over on the left. That is pretty much it for the checkbook. The other items here on the left are for administrators only. So there are different options here where I can just click on this, will update JobTrack, so it will update itself and pull down the most recent version off the web. Different tools for setting job numbers, exporting to QuickBooks. Under the File button, there's all kinds of maintenance options if I want to set up my bank or set up different suppliers or set up different materials. I can go in and change the template. So if I want my work order to look differently than it was by default, I can go into here in Files and actually make changes to the work order. Reports. Most reports in the system are designed to be online and hopefully get most information prior to printing. So most of these reports are in grids, just like we saw in the checkbook. The grids can be sorted or filtered or grouped. So I can see a list of all my contacts by clicking on Reports, Contact Grid, and see that list. Or Reports, a job grid would just be a list of jobs with a whole bunch of information there. You can select which columns you want to see. You can group, you can sort, you can filter. One of the most useful reports is a salesperson pay grid report, which breaks all of the jobs out by salesperson. And with that, I can, whenever I get something grouped and sorted and filtered the way I like it, I can save those settings away and come back and reselect those settings to get them to pop up again. So lots of useful stuff coming out of the reports. Once I've got things set the way I like them, I can print it. Also, I can dump it out to Excel. So these grids that we're manipulating right now can be dumped out to Excel for other analysis or for emailing or whatever you'd like to do with them from that point. And that is pretty much it. We've worked our way through JobTrack. We've looked at all the details inside of a job. We've looked at all the different options for the main buttons here down the left. Thank you.